Mm. Hi, this is Sergio David. Hi, what's up? My day was awesome. The fellow with the name uh, uh, talking about that stuff, please. Let's be guided, eh? There's no need to be uncultured or uncivilized on here, please. Um, you should take your nonsense somewhere else, okay? I don't even know why I'm stressing myself when I have the power to. Says what do Sergio, I'm sure when you came on you saw the intro, so you pretty much can. Oh, I can. What's up? I'm not used to complaining, so everything is okay. Everything is fine. Go ahead and say hi, Richard. Hey, what's up? Is it Gwen or maybe I'm butchering the name, but sorry. I don't know what you mean by hangout. So cash, WSG. I'm guessing that is what's going on. Going is good. Sergio, no, that's okay. But sometimes a whole lot of questions could be avoided if we do simple research, But it's okay. No, Icon, I'm not referring to you. I'm referring to Sergio David. Mm, thank you, Malik. Mm. Oh, by the way, yeah, I think this feature is still cool on here. This is my just slipping this through the cracks. This is my audiobook called the Investor Gravity Model. It basically tells you how to build that aura or that gravity to pull in capital into whatever you're doing. You know, there are a few of us who can start, who don't even have to start ventures just by the mere, um, what's the word? The mere inception of ideas, just all the ideas, we are able to raise. I'll answer you later. Let me just finish. Um, just by the mere inception of our ideas, we are able to raise millions, and possibly some are even are able to raise billions in so-called fundraising, even before they register businesses or they go start business or even they go start with teams. On the other side, which is of course the majority, we have people who have everything. They have the team, they have the product, they have the company registered, they have traction, they have the pedigree, but yet still, with all these qualifications or whatsoever it is, they are unable to raise a single dime. And it all boils down to one thing. It is not rocket science, it is not some luck, it is just gravity. In other words, good name. And this so-called gravity or good name, many of us are oblivious to the fact that you can actually engineer it, you can actually create it, you can actually create that sort of persona for yourself. Yes, I know there are other certain factors. Maybe you went to Harvard, maybe you went to MIT, maybe you belong to a certain, should I say, golf club. These things are external factors that makes, I'll be honest with you, that makes attracting capital easier as compared to someone who might not be in that certain situation or environment. Albeit that remains true to the common or normal person who doesn't have these kinds of links or situations, or should I say these kinds of environment. He or she is 100% able to engineer that same gravity or aura that will help him or her attract that capital that he or she seeks in her ventures or business. Mind you, I'm not using money, I'm using capital. Capital is different from money. So this audiobook actually is actually an intellectual property which was created to help propagate the idea, not the idea, the framework of helping such people build, which of course is the masses, which of course is most of us, to build that gravity and aura in terms of attracting capital to whatever we are doing. So much so that, so much so that I myself, I use the laws in this thing very well. My favorite that I've been using is law number three, which of course has been given results on, especially my LinkedIn. So yes, I know it works because I use it myself. And back to Icon, you were saying how much is the so so it is in tiers, so I can give you an exact. Let me just check it because, oh shoot, because there are in tiers. What I mean by that is, uh, so it goes as so. So there are, oh shoot, um, ooh, ooh. problems. But anyway, problems are sometimes, yeah. So to answer Icon, there they are in tiers, by the way. Um, I can send you the link if you want. So the first, which is $97, comes with a bundle. That is the model itself, the audiobook plus the 19 laws PDF playbook. Then we have $47, which is a bonus chapter, which of course, yeah, is a bonus chapter. Then we have $29, which is the audiobook alone. So the the it's in tiers, is in levels, depending on what you get. I mean, you get what you pay for, so it's in tiers. So if if you are interested, I can always um send you a link for you to check it out. Those, however, on YouTube, um I can always drop the link here, but for TikTok, unfortunately, it's impossible to do so. So I just dropped the link here. Oh, and by the way, just to just because we are talking about business and all that, I think a couple of days ago, I was asked about some recommendations of books, especially for those of us who are starting businesses and ventures and all that. And my recommendation, I mean, I am not a business of or finance advisor, but from from the experience that I've garnered over the few years, I could pretty much say a lot. So first things first, for those of us who eventually will venture into business, enterprises, ventures, and all that, it is imperative to know how financial statements work. Not work per se, but it is imperative to know what they are. And yes, most of us have heard them before, but um, we really haven't sat down to actually look into them. So to the masses, or to the general public, there are three types of financial statements: the cash flow statement, the profit and loss statement, and the balance sheet. Asset is equal to equity plus liability. For those of you who did business, I didn't do business, I did science, but um, I know these because, yeah, because I'm in business. Yeah. So asset is equal to liability plus equity. So again, to the masses or to the general public, we know that there are three types of financial statement: the cash flow statement, the balance sheet, and lastly the profit and loss statement. However, that is not all. It is actually four. It's actually four, which of course we, the general public, we always for some reason we always forget the fourth one, which is the statement in change of shareholders equity. Now, the statement in change of shareholders equity comes about when there is an accumulation of comprehensive income, which comes about when, let's say, a company has, let's say, a more structured ownership, structure. That's one. Number two, when the company owns part or some of its own stocks, which is called treasury stocks. And lastly, when the company has two or more share classes. We have class A, class B. Some companies have, depending on how it is, sometimes they have some expensive, forms of share classes. And so it is imperative for us to know all these things. And so I recommended a certain book for the person, that is how to uh, understand how financial statements work: the cash flow statement, the balance sheet, the profit and loss statement, and lastly, which most people don't talk about, that is the statement in change of shareholders' equity. Most people don't talk about it because most don't know about it. And and um, and yeah, and the second recommendation I made was that is if the person is living in the Western world where credit is predominantly used, it is imperative for you to understand how credit is being used. Many of us don't know how credit works. We don't know how it's being used. We don't know. Again, I am not a credit advisor. I'm not a financial advisor, but because I'm in these kinds of things, I sort of know, in a sense that say your credit. I think one of these days I'll take a different time to talk about these things. Say your credit limit is, let's say, $500, but every month your credit utilization is $400. That is, you are using every month to use 80% of your credit card. 400 divided by 500. That should give you 80%. Yeah. So let's say your credit limit is $500, but you every month your credit utilization, that is, for every month you use 80% of it, which is 400. Which is, you're always using $400. What happens is, drastically it's going to affect your credit score. Drastically it's going to affect your credit score. And so there are three ways. So in terms of I mean, those of us, or those of you living in the Western world where credit is king, not cash, you have to understand these things. That the goal of credit cards is for you to use it, but not to use it too much. It's a fine line between some nuances. Is the goal is for you to use it, but not to use it too much. You get it? So um, there are three ways, to decrease your credit card utilization. Number one, try using cash and debit instead of what do you call it, the credit card itself. Number two, you can go and increase your credit limit. Let's say if your credit limit is, let's say, hundred, thousand. Sorry, Alieni said $100,000. Some people have $100,000 limits, but let's say your credit card limit is $500. You can actually go and increase it to maybe $1,000. But there you have to be careful, because if you're someone who spends a lot, you will spend a lot if you increase it to 1,000. And the last one is, of course, decrease how often you use it. And so I made a recommendation that, if you're living in the Western world, I mean the so-called diaspora, the so-called Western culture where credit rather is king instead of cash, at least for the personal side, you have to know how credit card works. So yeah. So I made a recommendation by Richard Moxley, my namesake, a very good guy. I recommended a book and I put it on there. And lastly, why not, I recommended my own book, which is this one, my own audiobook. And so this is to say, for those of us, to recapitulate, to summarize, for those of us who eventually venture into business or venture or enterprises or industries, it is imperative to, number one, we should understand how financial statements work. You know, Number one, we should know how financial statement works. We should know that typically there aren't only three types of financial statements, there are actually four: the cash flow statement, the balance sheet, the profit and loss statement, and lastly, the statement in change of shareholders' equity. The statement in change in shareholders' equity, most of us don't know about it. So, so, so that is to say, there are actually four types of financial statements. And number two, we have to understand how credit works, how our credit card works. Um, um, for example, a lot of us confuse credit score with credit history. They are two different types of things. But again, I am not a financial advisor, so you have to do your own research. But I'm able to understand these things uh, because of because of it being in business. So I know these things. Again, I'm not an advisor, so whenever I do say anything, just do your own research. A lot of us confuse credit score with credit history. They are two different types of things. And uh, and again, um, a lot of us do not know the differences between business credit and personal credit. There are two different kinds of things. You always hear people say, oh, credit is bad. You hear people say, oh, credit is good, credit is bad, credit is good. Look, the truth of the matter is, every wealthy person is using credit, every wealthy person is using debt, every rich person uses debt. However, when we hear debt or when we hear credit, our minds automatically shift to the personal side, you know which You know, typically on the personal side, there are four types of debt. The recurring lines of credit, which is your credit card. Two, installments, um, such as school fees and all that. Three, open. Open is your phone bills, your internet bills, and lastly, mortgage. These are the four types of debt when it comes to the personal side. And even a mortgage per se, well, I'm saying a lot that I shouldn't be saying actually. A mortgage per se isn't debt. A mortgage, I'll answer that question. Mortgage is mortgage is a document that a borrower gives to Mortgage is a document that a borrower gives to the lender to place a lien on a property. So that is what it is. And someone is saying, "Are you rich?" Oh well, uh, up here I'm very very rich. Up here, so I'll say yes, I am rich. Up here I'm very very rich. I can say that. So yeah, for those of us who eventually venture into businesses and industries, ventures, talk about startups, talk about people building things from the ground up and all that. Number one, it's imperative for us to understand financial statements. It is imperative. And number two, understand how credit works. Know that credit score is different from credit history. Know that there is personal debt and there's business debt. And lastly, yes, you can get a copy of my framework, which is this one, which ties everything up. So number one, you have to understand how financial statements work. Not per se how they work, but at least know what they are, you know, know what they are. Cash flow statement, balance sheet, profit and loss statement. And the last one that most of us do not know about, the statement in change of shareholders' equity. That's that. And number two, if you are in the Western, should I say Western diaspora, then the Western world, where credit is king, but not cash, somewhere like Africa is different. You can actually take $1 million and go buy a property. It is yours. But but in the Western side, cash doesn't work that way. You know, everything is credit, 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 debt, 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 debt. It is an instrument. It is a double-edged sword. Those who understand it can leverage it to make a lot of wealth, not money, wealth. And those who don't, obviously, they get slashed by it. So yeah, understand how credit also is. And lastly, um, grab a copy of my framework. So that will be just about it. You can always pose your questions you do have, and we'll take it from there. Yeah. Um, mm, from time to time, I'll be repeating what I just said. So, yeah, can always take it from there. Mm. And then the funny thing about being here is sometimes um, you find the room is zero people, but it's okay. These things happen. and also given the fact that there is a difference in time frame, that's time zones and all that, it also contributes to that. However, I will be here, I mean, whenever I have to, for you to pose your questions. Take it from there. Um, mm, um, just checking the metrics of, for those of you who are, no, you know what? Let me just show you. Um, Data is everything. Data gives you information, information gives you knowledge, and knowledge gives you wisdom. So data is or data, but data is it's important. And I'm looking at those of you who are on my YouTube, actually let me show it to you. I'm just gonna flip. Bear with me. I'm just gonna flip. Yeah, I know. Okay. So yeah. Um, um, for those of you who are more visual, sorry, YouTube guys, you can always check this out and take it from there. Believe you me, there's a lot that that you can actually learn or know. Yeah, this video is about the investor gravity model, my audiobook. Uh, this video is upcoming. Vladimir Putin I talked about his empire that he has built. You know, this doesn't come from a place of critique or praise. It comes from the perspective of empire building. If you want to build something, you always have to sit down, keep quiet, and watch those who have built something, whatever it is, whatever angle, whatever the masses might be thinking. You sit down, you peruse, and try and take out the good stuff of whatever is going on. If there's nothing good about them, fine, that is okay. But I realized that however the side is, there's always bad and good, and there's always good and bad. This duality, and so you have to sit down. Of course, in some cases it is extreme. It is extreme so much so that you cannot see the good in the bad. You only see the bad, which is okay. But in most cases, as human beings, the sort of things we chastise, we lambast, most often than not, when you sit down and keep quiet and observe the patterns, you realize that there's a whole lot of good, or there's a little good in that bad that we keep talking about. And so, this very video, the one about Vladimir Putin, it's not Vladimir, it's Vladimir. Vladimir Putin talks about how he essentially made Russia a brand of necessity. And this goes to the empire builders. There's a lot that you can actually, if you are willing to open your ears and eyes and observe, peruse, there's a lot that you can pick up on. And in that same vein, I also talked about where's Xi Jinping? Xi Jinping's, yeah, took this one about Xi Jinping, about how he took, basically how he took China from 0 to 100. Again, these videos are not coming from places of critique or praise. They are coming from places of the perspective of empire building, and so it is imperative for us to always keep our mouth closed and our ears opened as well as our eyes open to see the patterns in all things. And for some reason, I don't know, for some reason, uh, this particular one about the Catholic Church, that is a 2,000 year plus, what do you call it, brand? Yes, I use the word brand because it is a brand actually, has been able to, and it is still garnering or gathering views. I don't know, maybe some people are more. This goes to show that people, the the foundation of religion itself has been planted so deeply into the minds of the masses. There, I cannot say whether it's good or bad. What I can say is there's a lot to be learned over there. That is, if you are building an empire. And of course, there are some interesting, what do you call it, some interesting takes or perspectives. One from Harvard, one of Harvard, one of Beyonce, one of Xi Jinping, one of NATO, one of Patagonia, yeah, one of Vladimir Putin, and there's even one of yeah, Taylor Swift. There's one of Elon Musk. There's one of FIFA, one of Hermes, one of BlackRock, one of Disney, and I think there's even one of Kanye West. Yeah, there's one of Stripe coming up. Yeah, and there was one of Kanye West. So it goes to tell or show that it is imperative for us to always, you know, let me just flip this thing back. It goes to show that this is whatever happens, you can always find good in bad, and you can always find bad in good. But however, we we the masses have been trained to always look for the bad. Especially when something is on the headline. But like I said, sometimes some the things are also too extreme. You simply cannot find the good in them. But as human beings with thinking capacities, always, and I use the word loosely, thinking capacities loosely. Whenever we hear something, it is our duty to sit down, keep our mouth shut, open our ears and our eyes, and observe, peruse, and see whatever you can extract from whatever is going on. And so, yeah, give it a watch, give it a listen, and believe you me, there's a lot you can realize that is up for grabs in terms of knowing and all that. So yeah, and this is also to remind you that I'm still here for answering or to answer your questions that you might have. You know. Mm. Okay, so we're gonna give it like a couple of minutes, like let's say 3 minutes. And I mean, if no question pops up here, of course, we vanish for the time being and return later. Um, Carter, thank you so much. Oh, I wish you were on here earlier on. I think you're pretty much late to the party, but hey, it's all good. I'm good. And you? What am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm trying to connect to. I mean, wait, just a minute. I'm trying. Boss Kitch, I don't understand your question. Please reframe it. Now, Carter, yeah, says what am I? Well, as necessity demands, I'm showing up, to answer any questions that anyone might have, pertaining business, investment, leadership, that kind of thing. I'm sure when you joined, you saw the intro that I put there. So yes, if you do have any questions pertaining that, yeah. And on the other side, I always talk about anything that might drop up, in mind concerning business and all that. That is why I said you were late to the party because I dropped some things. But hey, you can always stay or drop in the next session or whatever. And also on the other side, I propagate my investor gravity model, an audiobook written to help people. That is people that will eventually move into business or ventures, help them attract capital. Oh, sorry. What I meant is, could it be possible to finish that until 5 weeks and go from? Uh, Still, your wording is not clear, please. But boss, yeah, it's no. I'm not making sense out of whatever you're saying. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. I read Investor Gravity Model. Oh, you mean you read? Sorry. And I'm so good, and it helped me because it already has passed to next. You mean you read it? You how can you read it when you don't have? Are you saying you need a copy of it or you have read it? Which is which? I'm confused. Please be clearer. Basically, main point is about status symbol of whole species in our group here in the. Okay. Uh, I give up whatever you're trying to say because I can't make head and tails of whatever you're trying to say. So, um, forgive me. You have to forgive me there. No. Okay. Now I know what you're trying to do. It has no relation to whatever I know, whatever I'm talking about. Okay. Mm, okay, so just give it a minute, and if no question comes, and I just vanish, and I mean pay attention to other things, and return later. You know, there's no need to stay here if questions are. You recently got a copy online. How? Where do you get a copy from? If I may ask, if I may inquire, where do you get a copy from? Yeah, where exactly did you get what site medium did you get a copy from? I just want to know something. I am waiting for your answer before I leave. I just want to know where you had the copy from online. I just want to know what site. I mean, what site? Yeah, where, but like where exactly did you get it from? Amazon? Where did you get it from? I just want to know. Just indulge me for a second. Where did you get it from? Don't play with me like that. I always observe data, so I know when someone is joking. Anyway, good luck to you, wherever you are. I don't know why you thought this was funny, but hey, good luck to you. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit. Stay safe.